Coming up on Casual Crypto.
Welcome to our very first episode. We'll introduce ourselves and give you a sneak peek of what to expect from this new series.
And
hey, it's time to take a look at what's making waves in the crypto world.
plus,
It just seems like they're covering their butts here. I feel like there's some golden handshakes behind the scenes. There could be some criminal fraud on the SEC's part here.
then
What do you do when the bank itself is getting sanctioned? Like, what does that mean for regular people?
this is Casual Crypto with Tony and Jay. Casual Crypto is intended for entertainment purposes only. Tony, Jay, and any guests are not financial advisors. Statements should not be taken as financial advice. Do your own research and invest at your own risk.
Yes, and welcome to the very first episode of Casual Crypto, the show that takes a more relaxed and even entertaining approach to cryptocurrency. I'm Jay.
And I'm Tony. We want to thank you for joining us for our very first episode. We're really just two regular guys and crypto enthusiasts, and we're excited to bring you this new show.
So right off the top here, we just want to give you some insight into who we are, what you can expect on the show. So, Tony, I'll pass that buck to you. Get that ball rolling.
I hate talking about myself, but so yeah, I kind of got into the crypto industry about 2014, maybe a little earlier, but it was really, I actually initially got in through penny stocks that were invested in crypto mining. And I actually would have been better off if I just invested into Bitcoin itself, but actually probably would have done pretty well.
Hindsight.
Yep, hindsight 2020. But anyway, so you know, I kind of dabbled a little bit, and I just kind of held on to those penny stocks and just watched them kind of dwindle to nothing. But anyway, about 2017, I got more involved into crypto. It just started gaining momentum, and I just saw a lot of projects that were I just got more interested into it. And then I kind of around that time, maybe 2018, I built a website that basically curates news for cryptocurrency. And I learned how to create ERC20 tokens, and I actually made one a Cujo coin after my cat. So it was fun stuff. And I just saw the industry mature and some really incredible projects coming out of it that were really doing some profound things. So it's just kind of, how this even materialized, how we talked. And it's just, you just know this is not going anywhere. This is just becoming a more mature ecosystem. And it's just taking over the globe. So it's really, really awesome to just be part of it.
Wow. Well, now I got to follow that, so maybe I shouldn't have passed the buck so soon. But, I'm Jay. I'm, a little newer to the crypto world. I'm just really fascinated by how it seems like, we spend money digitally, we get paid direct deposit, we do everything digitally now. It was inevitable. It makes sense that currency itself, as in cryptocurrency, would eventually become digital. So, we really just want to take a more laid back approach. With traditional like stocks and investing, it's very analytical. It's very numbers in your face. It's very like equations. And a lot of people are intimidated by that. So we just wanted something that wasn't intimidating, something where we could just connect directly with the community. A lot of new people in the crypto space, new enthusiasts, and we just want to speak to them directly. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're just going to be laid back here. Casual Crypto.
Remember, like and subscribe.
That's right.
You can help bring us to our first 10 fans.
Tens of followers. See, it's in the teleprompter, so you remembered to tell them to like and subscribe. And you know what? We wanted to, in all seriousness, we want it to be interactive. We want to hear from you guys. We want comments. We want ideas, and we would love to incorporate your ideas into the show. So, I feel like maybe it's time to get started with some headlines, huh?
Sounds good.
All right. So maybe if I get on the right music, we can do some
Casual Crypto.
So, hey, it's time to take a look at what's making waves in the crypto world. Here are your crypto headlines. So have crypto prices finally bottomed out? Coinbase shares jumped early this week, seeing the biggest gain in nearly 3 months. The company's stock surging as much as 8.7%, a recovery from last week's decline. According to the BLOOMBERG, the jump was part of a broader bounce back of stocks associated with digital currencies. Shares are still down by 25% overall, however, as investors reallocate their equity to haven assets. Coinbase announced that it expected trading volume to decline in the first quarter. So why the rally? Well, speculation that crypto prices have bottomed out and with them most of the risk. With cryptocurrency adoption rising and high demand for Bitcoin, some analysts expect Coinbase shares to reach anywhere from $400 to as much as $600 per share, while other analysts believe the stock price could end up at closer to $200 per share if Coinbase's user base just can't support enough volume. Wall Street giving the stock 20 buy ratings, 5 holds and 2 sells, with an average price target of $305. The mixed sentiment from analysts coming amid the Russian invasion of Ukraine and the effects on the crypto market could be high, but as of yet, they remain to be seen.
Casual Crypto.
The world's largest asset manager with over $10 trillion in assets under management is about to enter the crypto space. BlackRock, the New York-based company, will soon allow its customers to trade crypto through its proprietary asset management platform. This isn't the first time BlackRock expressed interest in crypto. In December of 2020, CEO Lawrence Fink said that increase in search volume on the company's website for Bitcoin indicated growing legitimacy for the token and the entire cryptocurrency industry. In March 2021, one of BlackRock's funds bought Bitcoin futures. Then in January 2022, the company filed for a blockchain and tech exchange traded fund that would own blockchain and crypto companies. Meanwhile, other Wall Street giants such as Goldman Sachs, Citibank, Bank of America, and Morgan Stanley started exploring Bitcoin and digital currencies due to the same growing customer demand. And growing demand benefits other companies in the industry like WonderFi Technologies, Coinbase, BitDigital Incorporated. WonderFi announced the acquisition of BitBuy Technologies, Canada's first approved crypto marketplace, in January for approximately $206 million. The deal is expected to close in the first quarter of 2022, subject to WonderFi and BitFi shareholder approval. But with the acquisition of BitBuy, WonderFi is on its way to becoming Canada's largest end-to-end crypto service provider. Crypto companies are making moves to support growth as well. Coinbase Global announced that it will release its fourth quarter in year 2021 shareholder letter, including financial results on its investor relations website, and the company saw its number of verified users grow to 73 million people, and retail monthly transaction users were 7.4 million. Coinbase also announced $1.2 billion in net revenue in quarter 3, marking the third consecutive quarter of over $1 billion in net revenue. That's incredible. That is some serious performance from Coinbase, and things will most likely only go up from there, especially with Bitcoin starting to make some moves and user accounts growing in numbers.
Casual Crypto.
And what is behind the recent Bitcoin rally? Bitcoin surging to nearly $45,000 to kick off the month of March. As some interest rate speculators say they don't expect to see aggressive rate hikes in the near future, hyperinflation forcing the Fed to reconsider rate hikes over fears of the effect on the stock market. The world's #1 cryptocurrency now seems to be moving closer to becoming a haven asset. As the Russia-Ukraine conflict continues to ramp up, Russian citizens may be looking for a way to inflation-proof their money. Recent reports claim that Russians are buying Bitcoin to bypass financial sanctions imposed on the nation.
Casual Crypto.
Has the SEC gone too far? For most crypto investors, the answer is yes. And the crypto community is showing their animosity for the government agency by calling them out nonstop on Twitter and other social feeds. Initially, the market welcomed the new Securities and Exchange Commission Chair Gary Gensler, believing he was pro-crypto and would help provide some much-needed clarity to the marketplace. That didn't happen. But once installed into his new position of power, it was clear he had other plans. Gensler has vowed to rein in what he's dubbed the Wild West abuses in a nearly $2 trillion market. Under his leadership, the SEC has shifted focus from squashing unregistered initial coin offerings to threatening legal action against any platforms offering investors access to digital assets, interest-earning programs, and even some crypto projects they feel fail the infamous Howey test, which originated back in the 1930s. This is a test which is outdated and does not properly represent today's digital assets. The SEC doesn't offer any real clarity in regulation, but they prove plenty of clarity, or they provide plenty of clarity that they want to control the entire crypto space. Ripple executives believe that cryptocurrency is not like the Wild West, unlike SEC Chair Gary Gensler's view. The payments giant is in the middle of its lawsuit with the SEC, and it has offered to collaborate with Congress and work on smart cryptocurrency regulation. As the SEC proceedings against Ripple continue, the payments giant has proposed collaborating with Congress on cryptocurrency regulation that fosters innovation in the industry while protecting investor funds.
And that is a look at your crypto headlines.
Relax. Let your hair down. It's Casual Crypto with Tony and Jay.
All right, so as most people know, we just mentioned this in the headlines, the SEC and Ripple are in a major court battle to decide if XRP will once and for all be considered a currency or a security. Let's take a look at how the crypto world's responding. Tony, let's look at that first article. I think it's we're getting ready to see a move in this.
Yeah, so on Cointelegraph, there's an article here. That's the former SEC official predicts regulator will lose on merits of case against Ripple. And it goes on to say, a former executive from the United States Securities and Exchange Commission believes a regulator has a good chance of losing its $1.3 billion lawsuit against Ripple on merits of the case. Attorney Joseph Hall has also voiced concerns over what the SEC's endgame could be regarding the high-stakes case against Ripple, which will have ramifications for the entire industry. The lawsuit alleges that the company and its co-founders, Brad Garlinghouse and Christian Larson, failed to notify the SEC about its sale of XRP beginning in 2013 and that the tokens are unregistered securities. The SEC has been trying to prove that securities fraud took place as a result. Hall, a former managing executive for policy at SEC, appeared on the Thinking Crypto podcast with host Tony Edward on Tuesday, where he said, "I'm not entirely sure what the SEC is planning on proving in XRP litigation. The implications for the SEC and for the crypto industry as a whole are massive. As Hall puts it, the SEC has a lot riding on the case, and the entire regulatory project could basically shut down if they lose on the merits of the case," he continued. "And I continue to think there's a pretty good chance that the SEC will lose on the merits."
Casual Crypto.
Yeah, so I mean, did the FCC, the consensus seems like they really stepped in it here. Like, no good way out of this. No way to save face.
It's really incredible how they dropped this case, especially with a few members resigning just days after, actually I think the day after throwing the case at Ripple. And it just seems like they're covering their butts here. I feel like there's some golden handshakes behind the scenes, and there's an attempt to, through a regulatory agency like the SEC, to hold another company back so that others could actually push their product forward, which is just I think that there could be some criminal fraud on the SEC's part here.
Yeah, I think it was a consensus. It just didn't feel right from day one. Everybody was kind of like, this is out of left field. What's going on? And I think in our next article we're looking at, we could see a settlement soon.
Yes, I believe so. And I think there's quite a few people that would like that. Ripple could expect settlement on XRP lawsuit in April. This is an article by Finance Feeds, and it goes on to say the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit has been widely followed for its precedent-setting nature. The SEC wants to make an example out of Ripple, while Ripple says it wants to not only defend its interests but also fight in the name of the crypto ecosystem. Most XRP holders, however, just want the lawsuit to be over in order to see XRP relisted on U.S. digital asset exchanges such as Coinbase. The court's biggest decision in the lawsuit, according to XRP holders attorney John Deaton, is around the corner. The DPP ruling, which the SEC is currently fighting by asking for reconsideration, is expected to be confirmed, and the notes and emails concerning Hinman's 2018 speech should be handed over to Ripple. The amount of evidence could be enough to corner the plaintiff and to provide leverage for an upcoming settlement between both parties. Attorney Jeremy Hogan, partner at Hogan & Hogan Law Firm, has recently shared a document indicating a few rules that the SEC and Ripple will follow, including a settlement talk 14 days after close of fact discovery. The last settlement discussion, which happened a couple of months ago, wasn't fruitful. The next most likely settlement time would be at mediation, said Hogan. Potentially in favor of Ripple is the fact that Judge Sarah Netburn, who has seen all documents in camera, will be hosting the mediation. she knows exactly what is in the emails, et cetera. And if I am correct in that the SEC is the problem child here, that could make a big difference. A good mediator can really work miracles sometimes. And I agree
Casual
with Jeremy.
Crypto.
Yeah. So, I mean, what are we going to see? How's the market going to react if we see this settlement come out?
I think there's a lot of people on the sidelines right now. A lot of people, I think the sentiment towards a company like Ripple, where everybody thought they were the banker's coin before this lawsuit, there was a lot of people that might have thought negative of Ripple, but then once the lawsuit happened, a lot of people were like, wait a second, they're not part of this. They may not be what we thought they were, and if this government agency wants to take them out, I think it's the sentiment change. So I think if Ripple pulls out of this in a positive way, I think you could see a flood of money coming into it. And then if it has clarity and other assets don't, like Ethereum and Bitcoin may be semi-immune to this, but I think Ethereum could be in some trouble. They might have had a lot of backroom agreements, and they really seem to have the I guess the consensus group actually had meetings with the SEC, and they seem to have some inside information, and they kind of knew that they were safe and all other cryptos weren't. So I think that there's definitely, if there's information out there that somehow can get in the hands of Ripple, and they do win the case, Ripple could be the coin with clarity, while Ethereum could actually be the next one under a microscope, and you could see a flood of money coming out of that going into assets like Ripple.
Like they could be next on the
XRP.
SEC's hit list, basically.
They could, they could be, and so I think there's a lot of institutions that are on the sidelines too, because if Ripple gets through this, again, I think that they have a real quality utility coin or token. That could it's really set up for some massive runs, really, in value.
Well, I mean, because there'll be institutional money that will say, okay, now it's safe to go. But right now it's listed on or delisted on most major exchanges. What happens when those floodgates open back up? I mean, you're talking unheard of volume. Who knows?
Absolutely. Where all the other coins during this last market, the last bull runs or the last few mini bull runs, XRP was probably one of the only coins that didn't hit an all-time high. And so it's really positioned where I think that when it's relisted and it's accessible by many again, I really think that, again, that's just going to be something that there'll be a flood of income or a flood of funding coming into it.
Wow. So, yeah, I mean, to sum it up, it was such a bizarre thing from the beginning. It's been kind of a long journey. It seems like we've been waiting forever for clarity. Yep. Seems like we might finally get some.
Not just for Ripple, for the industry. I mean,
all the coins,
the SEC is really playing. It's almost unbelievable how stupid they're acting.
Yeah.
They're pretending there's clarity, but there is no clarity. And I think it's actually harmful for the entire market, because they'll literally just go right down the coin market cap and go one after another and just try to, take them all down. So, and if you can't just have Bitcoin and Ethereum be okay and everybody else is going to get attacked.
It doesn't make sense.
Especially when Ethereum is the one that's probably the cause of all the ICOs to begin with, because of all the tokens that were created as an ICO on Ethereum. So it's just like, out of all tokens, and Ripple didn't have an ICO where Ethereum did. Mm-hmm. So you have there's some issues there, and I think it would be good to get all this behind us and just let the industry grow in a healthy way without a government agency, deliberately trying to throw it off the tracks.
Yeah, keep it what it was supposed to be, was decentralized.
Exactly.
Yeah, so...
Casual Crypto with Tony and Jay.
What effect will global tensions have on crypto and financial restrictions? And could a swift ban on Russian banks be just the beginning? It's time to take a look at what's trending. And you take the lead on that, Tony, because there's some stuff we were talking about earlier.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So I got another article here about how the EU is going to ban 7 Russian banks from SWIFT. So here's European Union ambassadors agreed to exclude 7 Russian banks from the SWIFT financial messaging system, but spared the nation's biggest lender, Sberbank, PJSC, and a bank part owned by Russian gas giant Gazprom, PJSC. VTB Bank, PJSC, these are tongue twisters, and Bank Roisia, I'm probably not pronouncing that properly, are among the banks that face a ban from the messaging system that enables trillions of dollars worth of transactions around the world, according to officials familiar with the decision. The measures in response to Russian leader Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine are expected to be adopted overnight.
Casual Crypto with Tony and Jay.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, what do you do when the bank itself is getting sanctioned? Like, what does that mean for regular people?
Well, it's scary when you think that a government, because of the actions of a government, that you could be barred from your own funding, or the bank that you might use for your bank might be barred from being able to transact. And like, if you have a business, or even just to pay your own bills, you might not have access to your money. So I don't know exactly how. I don't know the exact details on how that's going to affect the consumer in places like Russia, or any place that would have SWIFT just shut off their banks. But it's scary, because it's like, you think you own your money, but then, if it's in a big institution like that, and a company like SWIFT, or a banking product like SWIFT just shuts your access off, that's terrifying. So, it's probably best to keep your money in smaller banks, maybe credit unions, and maybe distribute your money in different places. Again, not financial advice.
Right, yeah.
But you would never want to have all your eggs in one basket.
In general, either way,
Yeah,
that's always been the case. You always want to diversify. It's just a digital world now. And it's just, okay, so I guess you kind of look at Bitcoin being used as a way to kind of maybe shield yourself from that, because that's, as of now, still by and large out of the banking system. So what does that mean? What are the tensions and everything going on mean for Bitcoin? Is that the place to put your money now?
Well, I think we can actually, there's another article here we can jump to, and this is on Barron's. It's Bitcoin is flying in the face of war. Here's what may come next. And I'll just go through a little bit of this. Russia's invasion of Ukraine is pressuring global equities, pumping up oil prices, stoking inflation, scrambling plans by the Federal Reserve to raise interest rates. Through it all, Bitcoin appears to be sailing through the storm. Trading around $43,800 on Tuesday, Bitcoin has risen 8% in the last 24 hours. The cryptocurrency has rallied 23% off lows of around 35,000 last week as Russian forces invaded Ukraine, triggering the first major European land war since World War II. That's crazy stuff. The crypto seems to be benefiting from demand as the currency or store of value in countries that are being rocked by war and new financial controls, or even just their prospects. Goes on a little bit further on to say demand for stablecoins has been rising as citizens in Ukraine and Russia buy tokens which aim to maintain a fixed dollar value. Luna, so what they're looking at is these stablecoins. So Luna, a token used for backing algorithmic stablecoins on the Terra blockchain network, has soared 67% in the last week. That's incredible.
Unheard of.
Crypto is finding other uses too. It's being deployed for donations for Ukraine's defense and humanitarian aid. The Ukrainian government and nonprofits supporting its military have raised through $30.8 million through more than 26,000 crypto asset donations, according to blockchain data analytics from Elliptic. Yet, as borderless digital currencies operating outside the banking system, Bitcoin and other cryptos may also be used to evade sanctions. And while there are positive aspects to their uses, enabling ordinary citizens to transact and maintain wealth while their sovereign currencies plummet, there may also be long-term negative repercussions.
Casual Crypto.
Yeah, so it's like, it's funny. Bitcoin started out as that's shady, we can't, what is it? And now it's like people are like, Bitcoin is where we feel confident because everything else is like blowing up. What is this? It's insane.
Yeah, it's incredible. I think you see, governments, deciding to use this as their new currencies, and for some people, it is really almost like a world currency that they can take anywhere. And there's maybe not everywhere. It's not going to be like maybe as accessible as maybe USD at the moment. But you can use it worldwide if you can find locations that will accept it. And there's methods of using it through credit cards and things like that, through like a BitPay.
And there's more and more. And actually, that's a good point, because you look at every other currency, you have to think about an exchange rate. What is this going to be to euros? Yep. What is this going to be if I go to Australia? Your Bitcoin is worth the same in the United States as it's worth in India, as it's worth in Africa, as it's worth, in Europe. So it's like, that's actually a very good point. That exchange rate proofs your money in a way too.
Yeah, and I think one of the problems with Bitcoin is it's good and bad. So Bitcoin, when it comes to buying, bread and milk, it's probably not the best asset, because like the fees of using it right now are excessive. And I think that's the one thing maybe really holding it back. But if say you sold your house and you were in a state that was, or in a country that was in some kind of crisis, you could actually transfer your wealth out and move someplace to a safer location, a safe haven somewhere else in the world, and take your Bitcoin with you, where you could, in some other in other instances, your money, if it's tied to that region, like Belarus, you could find yourself basically having worthless money, or the banks would. That's another instance where the banks would only allow you to take out a small amount of money. Wow. So you could find yourself in a place where you just can't even survive, and that's. So I think crypto is a huge asset. I think it's more positive than negative. But I definitely fear that I think some government agencies and ones that want to control the power, want to control the people, that they're the ones that are going to want to control the currencies that we use. And so I think to a degree they can't shut it down completely, but I think that they can definitely make it harder to access.
Right. And if you look at all new technologies, they start out as like the Wild West. The internet was the Wild West and the dot-com boom. And then what happens? More regulation, the net neutrality. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
This almost feels like the digital bit, or the crypto version of kind of that whole time, where it's like we're defining like, what does this mean, and who has what control over it, and what's it going to look like in the future, 5, 10, 15 years. And I think now, like the decisions that happen now and how this plays out, this is the line in the sand of like, what is this currency going to mean for all of us?
Yeah.
Going forward, we don't know yet. We're going to find out.
We don't.
Well, see how quick it all goes by?
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. It looks like we have actually reached the end of our very first episode of Casual Crypto. So I enjoyed it. You enjoyed it?
It was good.
It's pretty cool, Yeah.
Great first run.
We're still here. The studio didn't blow up. So.
It's gonna fire out back, but
yeah, we'll call them later. We hope everybody enjoyed it. And just a reminder, Casual Crypto is intended for entertainment purposes only. We are not financial advisors. Believe me, we are not. And any statements or opinions conveyed on this show should not be taken as financial advice. Do your own research and invest at your own risk.
And thanks again for joining us for the very first episode of Casual Crypto. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.